Today we have X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy to discuss. This technique is also used for structural and surface analysis. This technique is also called surface chemical analysis technique. This is also called chemical analysis technique. We can say X-ray photo electron spectroscopy. This technique is used to know the information about the elemental composition present in the material. It also explains the chemical and electronic state of the element. It also gives information about empirical formula. You can get idea about contaminants or impurities present in a sample. It also gives information about the elemental distribution in a sample. These kind of informations we can get while using X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. This X-ray photoelectron spectroscopic technique is basically follow the principle of photoelectric effect. And we know that this phenomenon is actually based on impregnation of electron or beam on the surface of material and then the ejection of electron from the surface. So this technique, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, actually measure this technique, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, actually measures the kinetic energy of ejected electrons. Then this energy of ejected electrons can be converted into the binding energy of electron. Binding energy of electron is usually equal to minus kinetic energy of that ejected electron. This energy is actually the energy of the X-ray which we use for this particular analysis. In a particular analysis, a beam of X-ray interact with your material. Which part of the material? Actually, it interact with the core electrons. Which electrons? Core electrons. You can say electrons present in core orbitals. So this X-ray interact with core electrons, and this process leads to the emission of core electrons, and then it measures the kinetic energy of that core electrons, that emitted electrons from the core orbitals. And by applying this mathematical expression, you can find the binding energy of that electrons. Well, you actually want to find the binding energy because the XPS profile or XPS spectrum is actually gives you binding energy. Okay, so binding energy of electron is equal to the HU. HU is the energy of X-ray. Usually we use X-rays coming from magnesium K alpha. Its energy is approximately 1253.6 electron volt, or we can use aluminium K alpha. Its energy is 1486.6 electron volt. These two types of X-rays can be used for determination of binding energy. Now, by putting the values of, suppose we want to use magnesium K alpha, mean X-ray having energy 1253.6 electron volt, and then for our particular sample we have different kinetic energies. Then we will apply this equation by subtracting kinetic energy of your emitted electron from the core orbitals. From this energy we will be able to find the binding energy of electrons. Then we have a spectrum of binding energy, where you have binding energy, like this. Binding energy versus counts or intensity. This sort of spectrum usually will have intensity of emitted electrons from the core orbitals, and then their binding energy. So we have 0 to 1253.6 electron volts. This is the maximum energy, binding energy. This value, you can get this value 1253.6 electron when the kinetic energy of electric electron will be equal to 0. When this value becomes 0, then you will have come up with binding energy that will be equivalent to the energy of X-rays which you are going to use. Suppose here you have 0 binding energy in electron volt, and then you have maximum binding energy that is equal to 1253.6 electron volt. Okay, suppose you have this point of 0 and then 200 electron volt, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 11, and then 11,000, and then 1253.6 electron volt. You can get this sort of pattern. your XPS spectrum. Here you have binding energy of electrons from the core orbitals, and here you have the intensity. Peak position and peak intensity are two important things to consider. Peak position actually gives you information about specific element. It means specific elements have their own binding peak position. Meaning, if you have an element A, it must be present at its specific position, or B has its own peak position. This peak position actually corresponds to the electrons coming from the core orbitals of that particular element or material. And peak intensity gives you the concentration or amount of that composition. Okay? So these two things are much more important, because this particular peak position is actually for a specific element. Suppose you want to measure carbon 1s. For carbon 1s, its peak position is usually 290 electron volt around its peak position. It usually gives a signal around 290 electron volt. And for oxygen, we have 530, around 530 electron volt. So these values indicate that every specific element has its particular peak position. Okay. Then we have, because we are dealing with core electrons or core orbitals, we have two different types of electrons: core electrons and valence electrons. The outermost shell, the number of electrons present in the outermost shell are called valence electrons, while electrons present in inner orbitals are called core electrons. Suppose for oxygen, we have to write electronic configuration of oxygen. The electronic configuration of oxygen is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2. You have 6, 2p, 4, 8 electrons. Okay? These electrons are called valence electrons, while these electrons are called core electrons. Similarly, we have cobalt. It has 27 electrons, so its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and 3d7. Okay. So it has, now you can easily find valence electrons and core electrons. This particular spectrum or XPS analysis deals with this technique deals with what type of electron? Core electrons. Which type of electrons? Core electrons. This particular technique deals with core electron. So as I said, the binding energy is equal to HU minus kinetic energy. If you are using magnesium K alpha, this equation will become kinetic energy will equal to 1253.6 minus kinetic energy. Okay. Now in this case you have to measure both this part in electron volt and kinetic energy in electron volt. So the whole expression will become 6 minus kinetic energy overall in electron volt. So your energy will become in electron volt. Okay. Now if binding energy is equal to 800, if binding energy is 800, then you can find what will be the kinetic energy of that particular electron which gives this signal. You can find. Suppose this is binding energy and 1253.6 minus kinetic energy. You have to find actually the kinetic energy of that electron. Binding energy minus 6 is equal to minus kinetic energy. Kinetic energy will be equal to 1253.6 minus binding energy. And in this particular case, 1253.6 minus 800. Your answer will be for any number in electron volt. This will be your kinetic energy. This will be around 453.6 electron volt kinetic energy. Okay. Now we also have a concept of spin orbital coupling in that case. This particular technique can be used to find or to determine the spin orbital coupling and the signal corresponds to spin orbital coupling. Suppose your electron is present in p orbital and you want to find the binding energy of that electron in p orbital. So you will get two different signals. What will you have? Suppose your electron in 2p orbital. If electron is present in 2p orbital, it will give you two signal in XPS profile. It will give you two signals. What type of that signals will be? These two signals are due to the spin orbital coupling or splitting, you can say. These two orbitals, these two signals might be 2p 1/2 and 2p 3/2. How will you find or how will you know position of this signal and position of this signal? For this we have to find J values. J value is equal to L plus minus L, and we know this L is actually come from orbital quantum number है and this S is your spin. And we know that spin either be this or this. And for particular orbital, for P, we have an idea. For S, the value of L is equal to 0, for P is equal to 1, for D is equal to 2, and for F is equal to 3. The value of orbital L. Okay? Okay. Now you have to find, because your electron is present in P orbital and it gives you two signals in XPS profile, and we want to find which type of these signals will be and what will be their position. Suppose there are two cases. You will get two J values. One where L is equal to 1 and spin is 1 over 2. This will be equal to 3 over 2. So this will become 2p 3 by 2. Okay, there is another option, that is 1 minus 1 by 2. Spin might be this one, will be equal to 1 by 2 and 2p 1 by 2. Now, the next step is to find the position of this signal and this signal. As we know, the position is mainly dependent upon the binding energy. So, binding energy of these two signals will be different. And this binding energy actually depends upon the kinetic energy. And we have this relation, and we know this relation, binding energy is equal to H nu minus kinetic energy. Mean, in this case, binding energy has inverse relation with kinetic energy. It means if you have greater kinetic energy, then from this particular value you can subtract that value and you will come up with binding energy that will be lower. With the increase in kinetic energy, there will be a decrease in binding energy. Suppose in these two particular cases, in which case we have higher kinetic energy. For higher kinetic energy, we will come up with lower binding energy. These J values actually deal with the momentum, spin orbital momentum. If J value is higher, higher will be the momentum. Higher J value, higher momentum. Lower J value, lower momentum. If the electron present in or moving with this kind of motion, for this kind of J values, its kinetic energy will be higher. Higher J value means higher J value, higher will be the kinetic energy. Means J value is directly proportional to kinetic energy. Higher the J value, higher will be the kinetic energy. For this particular case, 2p 3 by 2 has higher kinetic energy than 2p 1 by 2. If 2p 3 by 2 has higher energy, then its binding energy will be lower. So, according to this equation, binding energy of 2p 1 by 2 is higher than binding energy of 2p 3 by 2. Why? Because the electron present in p orbital with 1 by 2 spin, it will move parallel. Both these motions, momentum will be parallel, and ultimately they will have higher momentum, mean higher kinetic energy. If kinetic energy is higher, then its binding energy will be lower. Suppose now these are two signals, and we know this is 2p and this is 2p. Now we have to identify which signals corresponds to which type of bonding energy for electron. We have 2p 1 by 2, lower J value has lower kinetic energy and higher binding energy. So here we have increase in binding energy. So this signal will be corresponds to 2p 1 by 2, higher binding energy, and this will be 2p 3 by 2. In that way, you can further identify the composition and different types of binding energies, and this is some sort of surface analysis or structural analysis. This is also structural analysis. This type of spectroscopy also gives information about the structure of valence band. Structure of valence band, particularly for core electrons. Okay. You can apply the same concept for d orbitals. The electron present in d orbital also give you two signals. Okay? This will also give you two signals. Suppose 3D and 3D. And we have an idea that for particular d orbital, you have the value of L is equal to 2. 2 plus 1 by 2 is equal to 5 by 2. And this is 2 minus 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 2. So you will come up with two different signals, 3D 5 by 2 and 3D 3 by 2, two different signals. And in which case you have higher J values? In that case, if its J value is higher, it means its kinetic energy will be greater. If it has greater kinetic energy, then its binding energy will be lower. If this signal like that, then 3D. This will be higher energy. In case you have increase in energy, this signal will be for 3D 3 by 2, and this will be for 3D 5 by 2. Similarly, if you have f orbital and you have electron in f orbital, you will also get two signals in that particular case, and you have, suppose I will say 5f and 5f. For f, you have the value of L is equal to 3. Okay, this will be equal to 7 by 2, and this will be equal to 5. And then you have 5f 7 by 2 and 5f 5 by 2. Similarly, this has higher J value. Higher J value means higher kinetic energy. If it has higher kinetic energy, then its binding energy will be the lower. So, in that particular case, you have 5f, 5f. Higher binding energy for 5 by 2 and lower binding energy for 7 by 2. Okay, this is a very important concept. In addition to these splittings, we must know the peak height ratio for all these cases. For that, particular information, peak height ratio, we know P has two different parts. Similarly, D and F. You have P 1 by 2, you have P 3 by 2. In that case, you have D 3 by 2, D 5 by 2. And here you have F 5 by 2 and F 7 by 2. Now, you have to find the ratio of this signal, height of this signal and height of this signal, and the ratio between these two signals. You can write over here 0.5, 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5 and 3 by 2 is equal to 1.5. Okay? And if you will go for approximation, it will be rounding of data, it will be equal to 1 and it will be equal to 2. So there is a ratio between 1, these two, 1 ratio 2. So for this you have 1.5 and for this particular case you have 2.5. By rounding, this will be equal to 2, this will be equal to 3. So ratio between these two signals and the height of the ratio between these two signals will be 2 ratio 3. For F, you have 2 by 5, you have over here 3.5. Approximation by rounding of data, 3 ratio 4. So this is actually the peak height, or rather peak height, you must say peak area. That will be the most exact word or the exact information we'll get from this. So peak area ratio, this is called peak area ratio. Peak area ratio. Peak area ratio. Okay. From this information, you can get much more information. Okay, peak area. You can get information about the peak area. One more thing. This technique will also help you to find the oxidation stage. Suppose you have a material A and then you have material A plus. A plus means one electron is going to remove and you have this one. This is called oxidation. In which case, for which particular state you have higher bonding energy. Higher bonding energy means if the distance from the between electron and nucleus is going to increase, then the bonding energy will be lower, meaning electron ionization energy will be lower, meaning its bonding energy will be lower. If distance is going to decrease, then the grip of nucleus upon electron is higher and it's difficult to remove that electron, and the binding energy of that electron will be higher. So in that case, you have two signals, suppose A and this one, like this. Higher binding energy or lower binding energy. Okay, you can get signal like this. Okay, this will be your A. Okay, and this will be your A plus. Similarly, if A plus, there is removal of one more electron, it will give you A2. So its energy will be if this signal and then this signal, this will be Similarly, suppose we have Fe in metallic form and Fe2O3. Here you have its interaction. More electron is more tightly bonded, more is going to more engaged. So in that case, for this particular signal, metallic oxide will have higher binding energy. It will be like this. This is your metallic, and this is for 3. Okay. Similarly, you have position for oxygens. For particular analysis, we can go for some peak splittings. As I said in the previous lecture, that we have to go for some spectral analysis, then we need some deconvolution or convolution. Suppose you have signal of oxygen over here, it usually comes around, oxygen 1 is usually comes around 536 electron volt or 530 electron volt. If the signal is around this one, now you have to deconvolute this part 400 to 600, or here you have 500. So this you can also write 500 over here. Okay, this like this. Now here you have different. This part is actually for oxygen 1s, but it depends upon the environment of oxygen. The peak position, we can get the shift in peak position. This peak position of any particular element, of any, it corresponds to any signal, suppose for carbon signal, for oxygen, for any metal, any type of signal, there is a chance to shift in peak position. That peak position, change in peak position is actually due to the change in engagement of that electron with different environment. Okay, different environmental positions. Mean the composition of the compound. Maybe oxygen, for particular case, maybe oxygen is have a bond with hydrogen or with some metal, and there is a shift in peak position. Okay. Here, if you go for its deconvolution, we have 3 different parts. One over here, one over here, one over here, and another one is here. So now you have oxygen bonded with different environment. So because of its environment around the oxygen, you will get some variation. Suppose like this. Mean if this part is 530, this may be 525, this may be 516, this may be 545. So these change in positions or presence of different peaks, it actually explains the environment around the oxygen. Okay. Here we have different binding energies from 0 to 1253 while using magnesium K alpha and energy X is coming from this source. Okay. We have different energy. We will come up with different spectra like this. Usually the most inner orbitals and the electrons emitted from most inner orbitals have higher energy. They and their peaks corresponds to their emission from the inner core electrons will be over here because they have higher energy, and as it approaches to the valence side, its energy will be lower. So this is all about for today.